you know, we must, as a free nation, we've got to realize that there's got to be a way that we can identify. You know, we must, as a free nation, we've got to realize that there's got to be a way that we can identify. Got to be a way that we can identify. Got to be a way that we can identify. Got to be a way that we can identify. Got to be a way that we can identify. Got to be a way that we can identify a criminal from a non-criminal. There's got to be a method that we can use.
And guess what, guys? You found where we are at. So let's go and talk to him. How you doing today? Thought the hot dog place, the thing was down there today. Yeah, oh, I love hot dogs. Actually, me and my partner just got done eating hot dogs down there in the town. Said the best hot dogs or whatever, the little place down there.
Was it good?
Oh, I am a hot dog connoisseur, you see, and as soon as I see that, I get regular hot dog with cheese and chili.
I like hot dogs if they're done properly.
Yeah.
And they may be done properly down now.
Yeah, they were done well. They were solid hot dogs. You know, they weren't mushy in any way.
So, but for whatever reason, Mac and Cheese was playing on this today. So we caved into the old crazy Mac and Cheese.
Yeah.
How's things going?
Oh, well, we're just covering it. Me and my partner over there just covering what's going on here.
It's a shame that we all can't get together.
That's, you know, I've watched a lot of the videos, and I think both sides agree on the Constitution, obviously.
You know what, here's the thing, and I understand where both sides come from. I understand. Lord God, I do understand. 3, 2, 1. And I know those fellas, and there are, you know, there's good and bad in everything it is.
Indeed.
I probably like give a different guideline than my grandmother instilled in me as a child. Thank God it stuck with me all my days. But we are Americans.
That's right.
And what bothers me, and this is what worries me about the whole thing, we have a lot of outside nations looking at us right now. And you know, in all honesty, Kim Jong-un, Russia, any of them, if they've ever had a thought in their mind of invading our country, you know they've never done it because they know, no, you go over to America, you get your onion handed to you.
That's right.
But I wonder right now, sitting back looking at things, because it's nationwide, this thing is, that they think, hey, give them a couple more years, they're going to rip themselves apart with this wall.
You know, I've watched, again, the protests, and I call it the messiness of a republic.
Oh.
Okay, it's a messy situation a lot of the times. But there are checks and balances within our systems that it all works out shy of bloodshed, hopefully. There's only been one time in this country's history where brother has fought against brother. And that's really where, when people stop talking and even yelling at each other, we have issues.
Right. Everybody's, and you know what? Everybody has free speech. And I encourage everybody to enforce and do free speech, you know. You know, because I tell you, you go to some of these other countries, free speech, they'll absolutely, you won't be heard from again.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you for your service.
Oh, this is what I do. But if we can't bring ourselves, and I worry because if we can't bring ourselves together as a nation, we're in trouble.
You know, you can understand, we all saw George Floyd. We can understand. What a lot of people don't understand, and I could relate, is why didn't one of the other officers yank him off and say, hey, man, this dude's had enough? I think that's what their argument is.
And that probably is. And you know what? There is no real defense toward that except, you know, I would say, you know, those guys were trainees from what I understand. I'm not sure. And as trainees, they're torn between, should I listen? Where do I go from here? In the military. And you're a military man. If you see something in the field and you know, hey, this is probably not right, and your commanders are doing it, you know, you're torn between that.
It's your obligation to report that up to your next higher command. If a person in command of you, say in the Marine Corps, gives
And
you
I
an
agree.
illegal order,
And I agree.
it's your duty to ignore that order and take it above him.
That's the way. But you know, now you're not that old a fellow.
I'm 55.
Okay, well you're right over my age. You know, back in Vietnam, it didn't happen because while those fellows that tried that, well, you know what happened.
Yeah.
So you know what? We all make mistakes. No man should ever lose his life.
Right.
No American. I'm telling you, we do have folk that are bad folk. We both know that. We've got folk that are truly bad, and things escalate sometimes, and things happen. Me, and just as an individual, and as a professional, we've got to come together.
Absolutely. There's no doubt about it. We can do it. All of us have so much in common, and there's so little that we don't. And it's just that we're so separated. You know, black against white, rich against poor. You know,
it's separations that we don't need. Separations that other countries are glad we have.
That we should be blinded to. No pun intended.
Right. I understand exactly. Right. There should be no. You know,
groups in essence.
When I see a person on the street, you know, they're an American, and that's how I see it.
Do you know the only institution in the United States that's allowed to ask you for your race, for your age, for your ethnicity, for your sexual orientation, and you know who that is?
If I guess, and don't hold against me if I'm wrong, would it be the federal government tax?
It would be the federal government in general. And they have made it illegal for all of us to ask them questions as a business.
Right.
So, and that's another issue that I think these people are having is that if you pass these laws, they aren't following them either. The government very seldom ever, as a matter of fact, Congress is exempt from a lot of laws.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that there's a frustration where people aren't held accountable whenever they're bad actors in government, and I think that that's their end. Constitutional, I think I'm a constitutional guy. I gave an oath to defend the Constitution.
That's correct.
And I feel that whenever I was sent overseas, now that I look at it with my knowledge now, they used me wrong.
Well,
we're supposed to defend our borders. Now I can understand 9/11; it was tragic, but that was 20 years ago. You would have figured we would have done it by now, right?
Correct.
We have the most powerful military in the world. We could have done it like that, but it's prolonged. The younger generation is getting frustrated with being at war their whole lives. The 20-year-old, they've been at war. You understand that generation.
You're correct. You know, a 20-year-old right now has not known
peace.
A war. Even you and I, because we were there when Vietnam was going on.
That's right.
And now we did break a little bit, but it went right back into...
Exactly, and I don't understand why.
Well, you know, that is well beyond my pay scale.
That's right.
You know, and I tell folks, and I've had folks talk with me about, you know, things, law and such things, and I tell them all this. You know, it would be paradise if we could all get along and think we could, but because there's some that cannot and will and refuse to. There's people that do very evil things. Now, your Constitution protects you from someone suffering you a loss. You know, or taken from you.
Or asking for your ID.
But with that, let me point this out with that, okay? I have a little bit of an argument with that, and this is what it is. Yes, you're correct, okay? But there's got to be an institute of law that we've got to obey, because here's the thing. Without that, I couldn't tell if perhaps this individual over here, and I do not know, maybe I don't know you all. This individual, whomever he may be, could be a very serious...
Okay. Can I rebut that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I walked up to you. We've been cordial.
Okay.
Right?
Well,
I trained criminal law just to be a police officer.
Yes.
And they taught us that you have discretion whenever approaching. You have vision, you have smell,
Correct.
You have odor. You can analyze the situation and realize that they're no threat.
Right.
And then you could either ask for ID if you see or observe something that gives you probable cause. It's very simple to then go ahead, reasonable articulable suspicion or probable cause that there's something in the vehicle to demand an ID just out of the whim is aggressive.
Right.
Is aggressive.
Right. But we weren't talking about the vehicle. Well, I'm just saying this in general.
Yeah.
You know, we must, as a free nation, we've got to realize that there's got to be a way that we can identify. You know, we must, as a free nation, we've got to realize that there's got to be a way that we can identify. Got to be a way that we can identify. Got to be a way that we can identify. Got to be a way that we can identify. Got to be a way that we can identify. Got to be a way that we can identify a criminal from a non-criminal. There's got to be a method that we can use.
The problem with that is the Constitution in the Fourth Amendment says that you're not allowed to search and seize anybody for
just openly, just for blah blah blah.
Right, and I understand vehicle code is so much different than just generally walking down the street.
Well, vehicle code I think works more off of something called. I really have to have reasonable suspicion before I ask them about it, and I enjoy talking with folks. When I get out and I speak with folk, I learn a little bit about them. They learn a little bit about me.
Yes.
Everybody's different. Now, we all of us here in this country generally have the same one belief that this is a free nation, and we have that right to free speech.
That's right.
Your opinion matters to you, and you have a constitutional right that I cannot infringe upon. It says, "Hey, I'm going to say what I believe and what I think." But in retrospect, I have that same right, you know, and I will say to you, I'll listen, but listen to me afterwards, okay? Agree? Sure. If we could get to a point where we could set the anger aside and say, wait a minute, these are the issues, these is what we must resolve. How do we work past this? This seems to be a problem. In our system, we've got a problem. We need to work some kind of a system.
The beauty of the First Amendment is it's about speech that you don't agree with. Because if everybody agreed with the same speech, then you wouldn't free speech.
Correct.
Not only that, how are you going to know the crazies if you don't let them speak? If you don't let them speak, they will go underground, and you will only know about them until they strike.
Hence, something my grandmother taught me: shut up, open the ear, and be enlightened.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to let you go. I'm sure you're very busy on a day like this, and I'm sorry for interrupting your lunch.
Fine.
I really appreciate the dialogue that we've had here today.
Yay! Yuck! Hooray! Yuck! Hooray! Yuck! Nanny nanny boo boo! Yuck! Yuck! Yay! Yuck! Hooray! Yuck! Hooray! Yuck! Nanny nanny boo boo!
Hey, thank you very much. Hey. Give me a bump. Give me a bump.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Hey,
all right.
You, I can see it in your heart, are a genuine officer, and you understand upholding the law.
Many are.
And you're caring.
Many of us are.
You're caring.
In everything, though, we do have, just like everything had its good, everything had its bad.
All right.
And we do not approve of the bad.
Right. I think the world saw what happened here on Sunday, and they were pretty much outraged, and that's why me and my partner come down here and cover it. From across the street, we don't talk to anybody. The only reason I'm talking to you is because it's a good perspective for the story.
Well, I was not here on Sunday, so I'm not aware.
Yeah, well, it was just brutal, man. You know, it was the guy on Facebook was Facebooking it live. He was directing people to go here and go there, and you know, he was talking about I work with dogs. You see, I work with dogs, and I've chased a lot of critters. And I think he heading down into the creek, and it was disgusting. It truly was disgusting when he was talking about a blind man chasing a blind man because he works with dogs and he hunts with dogs. He's going to chase that blind man down in the creek, and it was pretty disgusting. It was disgusting.
I wasn't here Sunday, and I really, I'm not very.
That kind of stuff doesn't belong in civil discourse. You know, it just doesn't belong. That was such a connotation to catching slaves and all that, and that doesn't play too well down in the, you know, running the man down with dogs. That doesn't.
3, 2, 1.
You know.
That's why you got free speech. Get out there.
Right, but his free speech led to people going over there and blowing smoke into his face. So that also, he put a bounty on the man's head. Did you know that? And not on his head, on his sign, but you know as an officer that sign is an extension of your body, and once you rip that sign off, it then becomes an assault. So the guy in the truck put a $250 bounty on whoever would rip that sign out. Then he see, that free speech turned into a criminal act, And that's why another reason I think that they're down here, and I understand that by watching that video, I can understand why he is the way he is.
Right. Well, like I said, I wasn't here Sunday. And I'm not sure. I haven't seen.
Well, I would suggest getting online whenever you can, and watching his video. I don't know his name, don't know what it is, but you might be able to find it. He's riding around all day long chasing this man, blowing smoke, getting people to follow him home, and it was just not a good scene. It wasn't.
Yeah, I did not. I just heard.
Plus, he's a veteran, and they were barking in his face. What's your MOS? What's your MOS? What's your MOS? There isn't any veteran, goddammit. There ain't no veteran that's gonna tell you anything if you're demanding it from him. Maybe ask him once, and maybe he might open up. Maybe he has post-traumatic stress disorder, and maybe he doesn't like talking about it. I knew many veterans, World War II veterans especially, that never talked about it until they were on their deathbed, and I read water meters, so I was in their house every 4 months, and I was the only man that they could talk to. So I took my time out of my day to talk to these men, and a lot of times they broke down on me because they realized that they were pretty close to being dead. All right. Hey, thank you very much for telling me them stories.
Okay.
I bow to you, sir.
Oh, no.
Thank you very much. I appreciate
I'm
it.
just a man. Well, not